What platforms are you sharing it to?
Tonight I'm going to be sharing it to Facebook and YouTube.
I'm gonna hop in on spreading this live.
Yeah. Let's see here. So they should let's see. All right, let's refresh this real quick and change up our setting. Yeah, if you want to give it a share, that would be sweet. And I'll share it around to the groups. Yeah, I love your group, by the way.
Thank you. It took me a minute to get it
Yeah.
to where it's at. A lot of people ask me if I'm trying to push it to get like the bigger numbers, and that's the least of my worries is the numbers. It's the help that comes out of the group is what I'm mainly looking for and my main goal is the help that we provide out of the group. It doesn't matter how big your platform is. It matters about the help that you get out of the group.
Yeah, I never really understood the whole
Like I understand the follower thing, that's different, I guess, but like when it comes to your group size, like it doesn't really need to be that ginormous as long as you have a strong message coming out of it.
right. All right, you shared it around. I'm gonna go on my side if you're going on your side.
I'm trying to see if I'm trying to find it still.
For sure. I'm just gonna click over to YouTube and make sure that it's happening over there.
Alright, okay, see that you're live.
Happening over there.
There it is. Now, super share. 1, 2,
I'm gonna
3,
kill the
4,
volume.
5,
Yeah,
6,
and if you leave your
7,
volume up while we're talking, it'll definitely bounce back on your Facebook.
9.
Oh
Alright.
yeah, we got comments. Hey, Calico. Yeah, we got comments on YouTube and Facebook.
All right. So I just dropped that. I just dropped it in 10 groups right now.
Sweet.
So
Yeah, you know
for
what's good with the groups? It's crazy. Just a quick introduction. Patrick Ryan. Am I saying your last name right? Is it
Ryan
what I think?
Patrick, Ryan
Yeah. Do
Patrick
you go by
Licon.
Ryan or Patrick or both?
When I my Ryan's my actual first name, but when I got clean, it was that whole new year, new me thing. So I
Mm,
said, you know what? Like Ryan, the way I see it, Ryan is the addict who was running around for 16 plus years smoking meth and also drinking for 20
yeah.
plus. So
Yeah.
when I got clean this time during this recovery, I decided, this is gonna be a whole new me because I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna stick to my sobriety. I'm gonna stick to this. So I said,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm burying Ryan and I'm gonna let Patrick rise.
Ah, nice. Yeah, I feel you on that. I kind of understand where that comes from. Like, I grew up and, my name's a mouthful. So Kalisha Campbell is my name, but Casey was kind of what it was. And then that fell off when I started dipping into the bad shit. And I was like, I'm going to claim Casey back. Like, all my good people know me by Casey. I'm going to claim that back. So yeah, it was nice. Kind of nice to be able to like switch it up and then, stick a new name tag on. So
Yeah, it actually
congratulations, on your
the
sobriety, man.
thank you, thank you. Funny thing is like since I've been clean, I've had people who I've known since like the first grade, and they message
Mhm.
me and be like, "Are you Ryan's cousin? You guys look familiar. Like you guys like are identical. Like, are you his cousin or his brother or something?" I'm just like, "Bud, this is Ryan." They're like, "Wait, what? Why does it say Patrick?" You don't need to know all that info. If you really need to know it, then follow my story and you'll get to understand why.
That's too funny. That's too funny. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your story. What the heck happened? I was reading that it was like 16 years, and I keep thinking 16 years of debauchery. You said 20 years of drinking, a couple of
Okay,
years of
so
twisting pipe, and all that good stuff. Fill us in.
okay. I won't say good stuff, but so yeah, so okay, at the age of 8, this is when my addictions first started. The addictive addiction personality kicked in was the age of 8, I started smoking marijuana.
Mhm.
I thought it was originally was a rolled cigarette because my mom and my stepdad, there were struggles during my childhood where, they didn't have cigarettes. There would be a rollie or 2. So I thought it was a
Yeah.
rollie. I was just trying to be like my mom and wanted to see what the hell she was smoking on. So I picked it up thinking it was a cigarette. It was not a cigarette. It was definitely not a cigarette. Okay, so
Oh no.
after that rollie, I actually got hooked to what was not a rollie. It was a joint. So I got hooked to marijuana at a young age.
Mm,
And I didn't really think that it was gonna lead me down anywhere else because, for the longest time, like from the age of 8, I smoked pot. I didn't do anything else. And
right.
then when I hit the age of 14, I tried my first cigarette. For the first time was 14 was my
Wow.
first
Yeah.
one I actually finally tried. And that the 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 feeling that I got being stoned and then the nicotine mixture was a feeling of euphoria, if I would have to use to use that word. It was a euphoric feeling.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with the feeling of the nicotine mixed with the marijuana. That I
Yeah.
mean,
What is
me
that?
being so
Poppin' shotties? I think back in the day we used to call that like poppin' shotties or something. Did you ever do that?
my little brother did. I never really could get into I would just rather just smoke my weed and then smoke a
Oh,
cigarette right
okay.
after.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But, so when I hit 14 is the time I first started smoking cigarettes, and then I also I introduced myself to alcohol. That's when my alcoholism started, was at the age of 14. So I went from the age of 14 drinking heavy up to the age of 19 is when I first started doing meth, and that was by my own choice. I wasn't forced to do it. You mean like nobody told me, "Hey, you should try this and this and that." I was actually in a bad spot in my head when I had decided to try meth. I was being accused of getting high on that shit when I had never done it, but I was being accused by someone who means dearly to me, and that's my mom.
Oh, funny how that works. Hey, like, yeah, that's I've been there actually. I've been there. People,
And
yeah,
I don't blame her for it. She was only worried about her kid because of the circle of people I was hanging out with. Yes, I did hang out with a lot of drug addicts, but I wasn't a druggie.
right,
I didn't know it at the time, but I was the one friend who all my druggy friends looked up to because I
right,
could sit around them and not get high. And then when they did
right.
get high, I would get up and I'd be like, "Hey, I'll leave." Or if I was just trying to chill, if they were doing their little smoker circle, it'd get passed to me, and I just, "Here you go," and just step on back and then let them do their thing. So when I found out that my mom was accusing me of getting high, I decided to try it. I kicked everybody out of my apartment, and well, I kicked everyone out but one person. That was the dope dealer at the time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
So I told him, I said, "Check this out, bro. I know you make a lot of money when you come over here and hang out with the homies and whatnot, dude. So check this out. I need you to do me a favor." He looked at me, he goes, "What is it?" I said, "I need a 20." He goes, "You got me fucked up.
Yeah.
You don't get high, bro. Like, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, check this
Mm,
out. You can lose a lot of money, dude. All I have to do is just tell everyone you ain't welcome here no more, dude. And everyone loves to come over here because it's the spot they can get loaded at and not have a worry in the world."
right.
So I basically put him in an ultimatum. He wasn't too fond of it, but I told him, I said, "Checks out. If you don't want to just give it to me, bro, I'll buy it off you, dude." He goes, "I still don't even
Yeah.
want to do that." I said, "Well, here, what I'll do is I'll set it over here. You set it right where I set the money at." Long story short, the transaction goes down. I kicked him out of my house. I lock my front door. I go in my bedroom. I lock my bedroom door because I have a roommate at the time, which was my best friend. And so I'm in my room and I'm attempting to get high. My best friend finally shows up. He forgot his key. Pound on the door. "Hey, I know you're in your room. Let me in." So I'm just like, "Oh, give me a minute." My front door had already been busted from all the stupid activity that was going on. So he just basically stuck a butter knife through the door, popped himself in, got in, and my best friend knew me. Like I didn't normally shut my door. So he goes, "Hey, what are you doing in there?" I said, "I'll be out in a minute." He goes, "All right." A couple minutes go by, and then he starts hearing a flick. He goes, "What are you doing in there, bro?" I said, "No, I'll be out there in a minute." He kept hearing a flick. He busts the door open, goes in, catches me smoking, slaps the pipe out of my hand, gives me hell for it, even though he used it. He was a user, but this is when I found out that I was the homie who was looked up to because I didn't get high. Because it came out of his mouth. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, we all looked up to you, dude, because you didn't fuck around with this shit, bro. Like, what are you doing?" So
Right,
from
right.
that, so me and him sat down, we talked, and he goes, "Dude, check this out. If you're gonna do this, bro, you better do this in like moderation, basically." So
Mm.
I decided I was only gonna do it on the weekends. So
Yeah,
that
famous
so
last
that next
word.
week came up. The week came up. I didn't fuck around, and then that Friday hit, and I talked to my best friend, and he goes, "Remember, only on the weekends, bro. I don't want to see you getting lost on this shit, bro."
Right.
So Friday hit. He tells me that we smoke, and next thing you know, it's about 2 weeks later. On a good one, hadn't slept in about 2 weeks. He takes off from the apartment and he goes, "Hey, dude, I don't want you going outside right now. I can tell you're on a good one, dude. And like, I don't want you tripping outside, dude. And like, whoop, whoop, whoop." So I'm like, "All right, whatever, whoop, whoop." He takes off. A couple hours go by. I'm in my apartment. I'm getting spun out, and I start tripping out because I'd been up for quite a bit, especially on my first run. And
That's a lot of days, bro. Like that is a lot of days. Like
yeah,
that's yeah, that's like right out the gate. That's not a joke. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So I call him and I'm just like, "Hey, dude, where are you at?" He goes, "What's wrong? Why do you sound so fucking worried?" I said, "I'm seeing some shit right now, bro, and I don't know if this shit's really true." And it wasn't like shit to like trip me out and have me scared or paranoid, but the things I was seeing was mind blowing. And so he goes, "What are you seeing?" I said, "Well, we live in the low income apartments, but the whole neighborhood's filled with Lamborghinis and Ferraris, bro." He goes, "Excuse me?" He goes, I'm across the street over at so and so's house. What do you mean?"
What are
I
you
said,
talking about?
I, I said, "Dude, I'm watching these cars just go around in circles like a NASCAR track, bro, basically." And
Dang.
he goes, "Oh my god, I'll be there in a minute, bro." He shows up. He talks to me. He goes, "Dude, you need to slow down, dude. Like," he goes, "You need to slow down. You're doing too much, dude, and this is why I didn't want you getting into this."
Right.
So to chop on my testimony, not so long and spew it out because I do want to talk about mental health and music, but
I mean, do you think honestly? I'm sitting here like the shadow people are driving cars. Like I've never heard this
yeah.
before. This is like I'm not like
So after that, I I run into a little bit of trouble. A couple years, okay, before my mom had accused me of getting high, I'd gotten myself into a little bit of trouble, and what I mean by getting myself into trouble is I happen to run into a friend who I hadn't seen in ages, and I mean ages. And he happened to show up at this neighborhood party that was being thrown, and I run into him, and like I said, I ain't seen him in ages, so I was stoked. This dude used to be my best friend in junior high, so I was stoked to see him. And he had a 36 pack and a bottle of vodka. I had a 36 pack or two 36 pack and a bottle of Captain. So the party was cracking.
yeah, it's on.
We're over there getting smashed, and I got all kinds of people with me. I got my cousins, my homeboys, my homegirls, this and that, cousins, and all kinds of people. And my younger cousin, he happened to be at the get together. I'm not proud of it. He was underage, but I wasn't overage yet at this time. But we're all drinking, and my younger cousin comes to me and he goes, "Hey, so and so is over here hitting on the younger girls."
Oh, that's not cool.
So I'm just like, "All right, let me go. I'll take care of it." So I go over there and I tell him like, "Hey, checks out, dude. Like my cousin just told me you're over here hitting on the younger girls, dude. Checks out. We're 17, dude. They're 14 and 15, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, we ain't into that.
Like, what the fuck, dude?"
Yeah,
So he goes, all right, my bad. I didn't know, dude. They don't look that age." I said, "Well,
it don't
you
matter.
were just." I said, "You were fucking just told just now." So I said, "So don't let this happen again."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So we continue to party, and then we get down to the last two bottles.
Mm,
So with all the alcohol there, you already figured most of these people are pretty fuckered up,
yeah.
including I myself. So he stops getting complaints about messing with the younger kids, and the we get down to the last and final bottle. And
Mm.
he comes up to me and he's already a little bit stumbled and shit. And he goes, "You wanna hit this?" And I look at him and say, "I'm gonna give you one warning, bro." I said, "If I decide to hit this vodka with you, promise me one thing right now. You are not gonna make me angry." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Because this is the one alcohol I can't promise you that I can control myself with."
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And he goes, "I promise, bro, I promise." So I agree to drink it with him. Me,
Right.
I've been one who never was a chaser kinda guy. It was
Mm. Yeah,
straight
straight.
liquor or nothing at
We
all.
used to whip the lid off the Weiser Deluxe, baby, 60
Yep,
pounders with the handle
I pop off
gone.
that little plastic piece, and
Yep.
it was guzzling
Oh,
time.
yeah,
So
100%. Yeah. No, listen, like we're
so
straight from the single wide out of the res. Like you don't have to tell me nothing about
yeah,
that. I know.
yeah. So we get to drinking, and I want to say we're probably halfway through this cheap, cheap, cheap gut rot vodka,
Hey.
and I get. Or I walk in my mom's house to go to the bathroom, and I come back out, and I hear confrontation between old boy and my next door neighbor. My next door neighbor happens to be a white supremacist,
Oh, of course he was.
and some words started getting thrown around, and he happens to drop the N bomb on to my white supremacist neighbor.
Hey, yeah, okay. Okay.
So my next door
I mean, that
neighbor,
happens.
yeah. So my next door neighbor looks at him, looks at me, looks at two of my other homies who are standing behind me, and then looks at old boy and looks back at me and my two homies and goes, "Ryan, you gonna let this fool disrespect me? This is your get together, dude." And he's over here
Right.
on my patio disrespecting me, dude. So you gonna take care of this? I told him, I said, "You know what? I'll talk to him." He goes, "No, Ryan, I don't think talking's okay anymore at this point. He disrespected me, dude." He goes, "Either you do it or one of your homeboys do it." I said, "Well, you know what? I'm not doing it." So one of my homies punches him. Dude wipes it off, looks at my neighbor again, says the same shit again to him. So my other homeboy reaches back, punches him, wipes it off. My neighbor looks at me, goes, "Ryan, you gonna you just gonna stand there?" I said, "I'm going in the house." I went to go walk in the house, and old boy opened his mouth to me this time and goes, "What are you fucking scared, you pussy?" Whoop. Drop that M bomb on me.
Um,
I turned around, and you don't call anybody that. I don't care whether you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, Filipino. It don't
no.
matter. You don't drop that name to anybody
Yeah,
unless
now
you
it's all
planned
on
on
you.
getting hurt.
Yeah.
So he when he did it, and like I said earlier in this live, I pre warned him.
Yeah.
So when he said it, my mom happened to be walking out the front door along with my little brother. My mom looked over at me and she seen the lights go off on me. She said that it just all my eyes just went total black. I turned around, I elbowed him. Boom. He dropped. I went to go pick him up because I seen him shaking on the floor and it freaked me out. This was my best friend and this is my blackout snapped out. So I went to go help him up. He As soon as I'm pulling him up, he spit on me and called me a nigger. Sorry for using the word. It
No,
just
I'll
came
put
out.
listen, like listen,
I know, but
it's
I don't like dropping that word. And
it's but hold on. Before everyone signs off, let me just explain something like the okay, first of all, culturally, like everyone's going to have their opinion about how to deal with that word and this and that, and that's fine. But when we're telling stories and we're talking about stories like this, like if you're gonna tell it, then tell it the way it was. Like that was the situation. And
it
I
was.
mean, I mean, you're talking to somebody right now who, like, one, I obviously have heard that word a million times in my life, and 9 times out of 10, when that conversation is happening and that's getting thrown around, it sometimes it's in a term of endearment, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's from a black person, sometimes it's from a white person, sometimes it's from First Nations, sometimes it's not. Like, the thing is that like the first of all, tell the story the way the story should be told, and
Yeah.
two, like, um, and I know I'm going to get some kickback for it, but the reality is like we only assign severe, exploitation to words if we assign them to them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like at some point, we need to start taking the power back out of that word culturally. Like I'm not saying everyone should be running around saying it, but it's a word, man, like just like every other word. People, it's like it's a couple of letters, and I already know that there is, like, I got probably a cousin somewhere right now just being like, but you don't know in the history that. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Actually, I've spent lots of time researching it. I know, we all know culturally, like it's nothing. Everyone's done such a great job putting the information out there, and I'm proud. I'm proud to be Black, and I'm proud to be white, and I'm proud to be able to use the English language as well as I can. So yeah, keep it up.
So when he dropped that word, when he basically spit that out of his mouth, I blacked out again, and
Mm,
I let him have it. My mom said, this, and she watched the lights go off on me again. But at this time, there was no stopping me. I was stomping this dude's face in. I was standing on top of his head, kicking his face in. So when I woke up the next morning, I went to go, or the following day, I woke up, and then it hit around 12 in the afternoon. I went to go check the mail, and as I'm checking the mail, I look down the sidewalk because the dude lived in the same neighborhood as me. He comes walk. He's crutching his way up to the mailboxes, and the closer he's getting, the more I realized who it was. And when I realized it was that dude, it broke my heart because yeah, you crossed the line last night, and I warned you, but I feel bad because of what my anger did,
right.
and how he looked.
Mm,
He looked like a fucking mummy.
yeah.
His whole face was wrapped up, and it broke my heart because that was my best friend at one point, and it
Yeah.
sucks it had to come down to that right there. So to get in between, okay, so me doing that to him resulted in me getting stabbed 8
Oh,
times.
shoot. Okay.
First time was I was babysitting my next door neighbor's kids. A new next door neighbor. It was my best friend. The one I was talking about when I had introduced meth to my life. It was his brother who happened to live next to me this time. So I'm babysitting his kids, him and his my best friend, his brother, his wife. They're at the NASCAR races, doing their damn thing, getting drunk, watching all those left turns.
Mm,
So I'm watching the kids, and you mean like I had been watching my neighbor's kids for a while. The kids called me Uncle Ryan. I mean, so like it was like family to me. So I'm watching the kids, and I get a knock on the door, and it happens to be the dude I beat up, his sister. And so
right.
I got my homeboy with me. I got my ex at the time, and the baby's inside. I just got the babies to sleep,
Mm,
and so I get the knock on the door, and I open the door, and it's homeboy's sister, and she goes, "Hey." So my homeboy walks up behind me real quick and goes, "Hey," she goes, "Hey, I need you to leave your homeboy here, and I want you to come down here and talk to my brother by the dumpster." Bitch, I'm from the
yeah.
fucking streets. I know what the fuck that means.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So so I
Yeah.
looked at my homeboy, and I looked at my ex, and my lady at the time. I said, "Hey, watch the kids real quick. I'll
Oh,
be right back."
brother.
So I
Yeah.
walked next door, and I walked in. I said, "Mom, I'm about to get jumped right now. Come make
Hey.
sure I don't." So my mom, being as gangster as she is for her being from East LA, she
Mm.
throws on her shoes, throws up her hair, throws a razor blade up in that motherfucker, and she
I'll
goes, "Let's
come
go,
to hear
baby
it. Yeah.
boy." She goes, "Let's go, baby boy." So we walk out there. My mom's in her sweats and her SoCal tank top, and we go down there. And as soon as I step right near the dumpster, one of them comes walking from inside the dumpster walls, and another one comes walking from the outside. My mom goes, "You ready, baby boy?" So
Mm,
let's do this. So my mom's standing one with her back towards me, so I didn't get rushed from the back. She's standing right
yeah.
there, and the dude I broke his jaw, he comes rushing me. I drop him like a sack of potatoes. He hits the
Ma-
floor, and I hear him tell my mom, "Shannon, why is Ryan hitting me?" And I hear my mom reply, "You motherfuckers are trying to jump my son. You think he's gonna back down?" So me and these two dudes are boxing,
Mm,
and During this altercation, this dude manages to pull out a knife that I didn't see. So I'm over here boxing with old boy that I broke his jaw. My mom's trying to keep homeboy from rushing at me. So I drop homeboy one more time. He takes off running. I turn around and this was God's grace getting me to turn around at this moment. I turned around because when I turned around, I thought the second dude, which was old boy's brother-in-law, was
Yeah.
trying to hammer fist my mom.
Damn.
So I stuck my hand up and blocked it, not knowing that there was a butcher knife in his hand.
Oh no.
So in this,
Okay.
so my left hand right here. I don't know if you can see a scar, but right here, my this was completely dangling. I didn't even know. So I'm boxing with dude, with my hand completely gushing
Right.
blood. So homeboy takes off running when one of the neighbors eventually calls the cops after about 30 minutes of brawling it.
Right.
So cops get called. Dude who stabbed me takes off running. I didn't know I was stabbed yet. My girl at the time comes running up and she goes, "Babe, your white shirt's ruined."
Just
And I
bleeding
said,
everywhere.
I ain't tripping. I said, this is it. This is his blood. This ain't my blood. And she goes, "Are you sure about that?" And she goes, "Stand in the light." And I stood in the light and she goes, "Look at your hand." And my hand's
Hanging out.
just gushing. So I run in the house, right? And I go throw my hand
Yeah.
under hot water. I wrap that bad boy up with a towel and I hear people screaming, "He's back out here." So me,
Shit is wild.
adrenaline fully running. I run back outside and I go out there and I throw it up with old boy again until the
Oh
cops literally
no.
start coming down the road and you see the lights coming down. So when the lights were seen, homeboy took off running in the middle of the desert. Cops show up, ambulance show up. They're over there talking to us. I'm a belligerent drunk, spun the fuck out, talking shit, telling so the cop comes up and he starts asking me questions, and I said, "Why are you questioning me? Because I'm the fucking Mexican. Why don't you ask the fucking white boy who fucking just stabbed me?"
White
My
clothing
older,
man, I swear to God,
yeah,
like
my older brother, he gets called and told because my older brother lives in the same neighborhood, and he gets told that, "Hey, your little brother just got stabbed. Like you might want to go check on him, right?"
right.
Mom had told him, "Your brother just got stabbed. Come over here and check on whoop whoop whoop." So my brother comes up, and I'm over there. My mom's standing there, and my brother's walking up, and I'm sitting there just talking shit to the Mexican cop. Me being Mexican too, just talking shit because I'm drunk. So I'm just talking smack, running my mouth, and
Yeah.
and so I get put in the back of the ambulance. I go to the hospital after I did all the questioning. And then they questioned me at the hospital about it, and they
Yeah.
said, "You gonna press charges?" I said, "I don't believe in press charges. I believe in karma."
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, that doesn't sound good on our end coming from you."
Right. You're out here stabbed up. People are like all over the place. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
little do
So
they know though, like, I mean, you say all that to say what? Like, you're out here with recovery groups with like serious people in them right now, like serious amounts of people in them.
yeah,
Like, you're my reference point. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We're licensed, bondable, all that stuff. We're legit business. And you are 100% like because we have an outreach hotline for people when they're
yeah.
like, I'm looking for like a virtual group, like a virtual meeting. I'm like, I got you. Like, I got you. So it's crazy because you're sitting here saying all this, and I'm just like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, you had to do all that. You know,
I
you
did
had to
because
do all that.
in all honesty, if I didn't choose to go down that road, who knows where I would have actually ended up? Maybe it would have been in a better position, and maybe I would have gotten cleaner sooner. Who knows? But in the long run, in all honesty, I'm grateful. I'm not okay. I won't say I'm grateful for the things that I have went through during my addiction, like, especially
Yeah,
with the whole being stabbed part. But it humbled the fuck out of me.
I bet.
And if there's any newcomers listening to me right now, I should have started our live off saying this. There's no glamorizing of my addiction in this, of my use
Mm,
of drugs. I want to make that very clear. I don't want it to sound like I'm glamorizing the life of addiction because yeah, I got a smile on my face talking about some of this. But there was some excitement during the process of it because I am a boy. I am a man. And men
I'm a
we
fucking female, and let me tell you something right now. I didn't do all that shit for all those fucking years because it was boring.
exactly.
Like we
Like
weren't. we weren't out there running amok because it was fucking boring. I mean, the shit is wild. Like, I'm not trying to glamorize it either. And of course, I have an obligation. You have an obligation. We have obligations now to say, like, you got to stay safe and you got to fucking, harm reduction. This, that, and that. The whole reason that, we had to go through some shit to get here. I was driving around in Mercedes, living in penthouses and smoking shit off a goddamn tinfoil. Like, that's it.
Tinfoil.
I had to do all that to get here. Well,
And let it
I
be.
mean, I certainly wasn't. I mean, I might have not been smiling the whole damn time, but I definitely wasn't like we weren't sitting there
Well,
straight faced the whole time either. So like,
yeah.
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you telling everybody like it's not cool to glamorize it or whatever. But you have to be real with these people because they're out there doing the same thing. Like they're looking for groups and in conversations that are real. Like I got
That
people calling all the time. They don't want to hear they don't want the textbook, Patrick. That's
yeah,
the thing.
and seeing that, and then the reason why I wanted to make it clear is because I don't know any other way to tell my testimony other than how raw
Uh,
and how the way I went through it and the things that stand out the most during
yeah,
all of it.
right,
So getting back onto that is so after I got out the hospital, I got back out of the hospital and I went right back to partying. Right
right. Of
back.
course it did.
But I went right back. Well, I didn't go right back to partying. I got back and I made sure that the kids were okay because my girlfriend at the time she stayed with the kids because we had to have someone watching the kids and she was trustworthy, especially coming from the family that we were watching their kids. Like they trusted her,
Yeah,
so she was there. I got back and we started partying again. And like I said, when the following day okay, so when I got stabbed that time, that was just through my hand. So a couple years go by, and this is the time when I actually introduced myself to drugs because I hadn't been on drugs. Actually, I wasn't. Yeah, so I wasn't even on drugs during the first time I got stabbed. I was only actually drinking at that time, drinking and smoking pot. Mind blow, and a mind space on that one. So my second altercation when I had gotten stabbed, the 7 other times because the first time was only through my hand, and like I said, I was only drinking and smoking weed. So my second time is when my mom had moved out of the apartment, and this is when I had my own apartment, and when I had kicked everybody out of my apartment, and I had gotten high for the first time. So a
right.
couple of weeks had went by after that. A couple months went by, and then I get another knock on my apartment door, and it's the
Mm,
motherfucker who stabbed me.
right.
So he
What's he
comes
looking
knocking
for?
on. I don't know. I still don't know what he was looking for.
Mm,
So he knocked on my door, and I opened the door, and I told him, I said, "Check this out, dude. I'm gonna give you one fucking chance and one fucking chance only, bro. You can get to walking, bro, because I promise you one fucking thing. You ain't gonna make it to the end of the block before one of my homies sees you."
yeah,
He makes it right by that trash can wall, right where I got stabbed at. And
yeah.
old boy, who I was watching his kids, is taking this fucking trash out.
Oh, of course it was.
Sees him and goes, "Hey, you're that punk motherfucker who stabbed my homeboy when he was watching my kids." So
Right.
I hear the altercation going on outside. I open the door thinking I'm about to see my big homie drop this dude. I will open up the door, pop my head over, big smile on my face, hoping I'm gonna see this guy get dropped. My big homie gets dropped, and this dude who dropped him is like 110 pounds wet, wearing boots. My big homie's like 200 and something pounds.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So I was like, what the fuck? So I see him go down, and then I see, oh boy, or my neighbor's wife, and she's pregnant at the time with another baby, and she's rushing in to come back her man, as most
Right.
women would do with their man. So she's running down there to come back her man, and I I don't even know how I was even able to see this because I have bad eyesight. But I looked down the way, and when I seen her rushing towards him, I seen homeboy flip a fucking knife out on her, go like looking at her. Instant
Oh wow.
blackout again. I don't remember any of this. I only know what I was told by my ex, my neighbors who watched the whole altercation go down, and my older brother's partner.
Mm,
So old boy flips that knife out, from what I'm told. I black out, rip my shirt off, go down there. Me and homeboy start getting into it. We start boxing, and then I get thrown off of him by my older brother's partner because he seen the knife in dude's hand, and dude was
mm,
stabbing me, and I didn't know because I was blacked out. I didn't feel anything, so he throws him off of me. He starts getting him up with old boy too, and he gets stabbed. He gets stabbed in his arm, or yeah, in his arm right here. So they get off, or they stop getting into it, and then I guess somehow, some way, I managed to get back into it with the dude, And so me and dude are just wrestling around the dirt, throwing blows. Dude doesn't have his knife anymore. And at one point, I grabbed his. I guess I was winning the fight. I don't remember any of it, but I guess I was winning the fight, and I grabbed dude's face. And like the AC units that are outside your house with the little
Yeah.
vents on them on the side.
Yep.
Well, I was using that for that dude's face.
Oh, dang.
And long story short, cops got called, a helicopter got called in, old boy got airlifted,
Yeah.
and I
Damn.
get taken to the local hospital yet again. I got
Mm.
stabbed. I got stabbed right here. I got stabbed in my ribs. I got stabbed in my neck. I got stabbed from the L on my last name all the way to the N on my end of my last name,
Dang.
and I think a few more other little ones. And so I get back out of the hospital, and you know where I'm going with this one.
Right
Back to
back at
partying
it.
again. Yep, back
Yeah.
to partying again. So I get back and I go back to my apartment, partying, whoop 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 whoop. A few days go by, and then I meet my son's mom. A couple years, and this is a couple year through a couple more years that have gone by. I eventually meet my kid's mom,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and then I wasn't honest with my kid's mom about my addiction. Her older sister had told her, "I don't want you messing with Ryan because I know he's getting high." And the reason
Right.
why she knew that is because her old man was one person I was getting high with.
Okay. So she knew what was up.
Yeah, yeah. So she tried to stop her sister from being with me, and it went well for quite a while until my son's mom stole my phone number out of her sister's phone. So this is how we got linked up. So she
Okay.
stole my phone number out of her sister's phone. Woo woo woo. Long story short, we ended up having a kid together. I lied to her for 7 years and told her that I wasn't getting high when she knew damn well from the beginning I was getting high. So she tried her heart out for 7 years to get me clean. I couldn't do it, and everyone knows you can't get clean for someone else. You really can't. You can attempt it, and most of the time it doesn't ever work.
That's right.
So my first recovery, I got clean. I made it a year and a half in. Me and my baby mama, we gave it another chance.
Right.
So I had quit dope and I was clean for a year and a half, but during that year and a half, I was constantly still drinking. And then my drinking was only getting worse.
That's unusual. Not a lot of people like usually when you start doing heavy drugs, the drinking kind of goes at the wayside.
Yeah, I never kicked it. It was always there on top of my tweaking.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's not very common. But
Yeah,
anyways.
and then so on top of the tweaking, then the no appetite, I was just meth, beer, liquor, meth, beer, liquor. Just and that's what my diet was for I want to say the
Wow.
16 for the I want to say for the 16 years of my meth addiction. Because when I was just drinking before I ever tried meth, yeah, I actually ate.
Right.
But when I started tweaking and drinking, it was just meth and alcohol, meth and alcohol, meth and alcohol. And then I picked up one of my old addictions that I stopped doing, which I didn't mention at all, but I was a pill head for a while.
Right. Okay.
But that was from 14 to up till 19. When I tried meth, I quit popping Xannies because
Wow. Oh,
I found a new love.
right.
So I quit doing the Xannies, and it was just like I said, meth and alcohol, meth and alcohol.
Mm,
And then at the end of my addiction, or at the so when I was when recovery, my first time, me and my kid's mom, we ended up splitting up because I couldn't quit drinking. She gave me the ultimatum: either you quit drinking or I'm gone.
right.
I thought she was just bullshitting me. She said, if you go to the store after work today, I promise you, you or me and your son are gone. Like I said, I thought she was bullshitting me. So I took off to the store. I came back to the store. She wasn't there. So I happen to know that she had a family friend who lived out here in Oregon. And because my first recovery, I moved up to Oregon the first time. This
Yeah.
is why I love Oregon, because this is the only state. Yeah, I happened to relapse out here last time, but this is the only state I can manage to actually get myself into sobriety or into recovery.
Really?
I
Why is
can't do
that?
it.
Is
I
it
don't know. My
is it
hometown's a
like
curse for me. I can't stay clean in my hometown or the three towns next to my hometown. I only know nothing but bad. when
Yeah,
I'm
I
out there.
feel like a lot of people struggle with that, to be honest. I think hometowns are probably they're deadly. 'Cause if that's where you like have your, your kind of war story, then yeah, it's a bit challenging, right? All the
Most
triggers and
definitely.
the memories and the,
So
yeah, all that
so
stuff.
so when she left, I drank even harder.
Of course.
It went from just 40s and a fifth. It went to half gallons to more than one half gallon to 4 or 5 half gallons.
Wow, that's wild, man.
And it was just me drinking. I was drinking myself to, and I was in this, and at this time I was working for Nintendo during my recovery. I was customer service for Nintendo. I got treated like shit for 13-hour days, but it was fun while it lasted. But so
Right.
during the process of me trying to deal with the pain of my son being gone and trying to cope with the fact that like yeah, me and my son's mom and my son are no longer a family because of my actions, which I didn't think about it at that time, but I was thinking about the simple fact, maybe you are greedy a little bit. No, no, sip, 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 sip. So I just kept
Right.
drinking. I kept drinking. And then my next door neighbor at the time came knocked on my door one day, and I already knew that my next door neighbor sold dope. He came and knocked on my door, and he goes, "Hey, I need to talk to you, bro." I said, "What's up? You good?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm worried about you, bro." He goes, "Dude, I almost watched you fall down a flight of 17 stairs last night, dude. You were so drunk. Do you remember any of that?" I said, "No, I don't." Said, "But thank you for expressing your concern, bro. I respect it." He goes, "Just slow down on the sauce, bub. I don't wanna see something happen to you, bro." He goes, like, "I understand you're hurting right now, but I don't wanna see you go down this road, bro." It's ugly, bro. Alcohol is an ugly thing for people, bro.
Yeah, man,
So,
cirrhosis of the liver, organ failure, fucking falling on
so
your
I w
face. Like
so
it's
I went back in the room or went back in my apartment, and I smashed a whole half gallon of JD straight. I was beyond wasted, and I hit that feeling of, "I don't want this feeling anymore, dude."
mm,
I don't wanna feel drunk anymore. Didn't have any coffee. Wasn't walking to the store because I couldn't make it that far, and especially if I tried to, I'm more likely getting stopped and getting, under the influence. So, I make that dumb decision because I knew my next door neighbor sold dope. I went and
okay. Yeah.
Yep, so I went and knocked on his door, and I asked him if I can come in. He said, "Yeah, come in," and he was over there bagging up his stuff, and, I told him, I said, "Hey, can I get an 8 ball?" "Motherfucker, you're in recovery, bro. No." I said, "Dude, I can't feel like this anymore, dude. You told me you don't wanna see me drunk no more, bro, and I don't wanna feel like this, like, if you don't wanna do it, I'll go elsewhere, bro." I said, "You mean I know it's out here?" He looks at me and goes, "Man, I don't want you getting something that's gonna fuck you up, bro." "I guess, bro. You got a pipe?" I look at him straight face and all, "Motherfucker, I am relapsing, bro, and you're gonna ask me if I have a pipe." He goes, "Yeah, my bad, bro. All I got is foil." Looked at him straight dead face again. Dude, I don't even know how to smoke off foil, bro. I never really was able to, dude. I've always just smoked off a pipe or snorted it. He goes, "Well, this is all I got. So, this is what you want to do. Then this is how we're gonna go about it." Long story short, skip through the little the relapse part. I ended up fucking up. I had an amazing apartment of my own. I actually was put on the Section 8 thing, so I didn't have to pay my rent. EDD hint or ED
Is that
the
whoa,
code
whoa, whoa, whoa. That's how Section 8 housing works? Like you don't have to pay. Explain that to me, because up here I'm in Canada, right? So
certain spots and depending on your income. So
okay.
I was still working for about another 2 weeks after I relapsed. I fell asleep during one of my phone calls.
Dang.
Got got reamed at over it because I was truthfully going through it. Like I was having a mental fucking breakdown. It wasn't because I had stayed up. I stayed up, but I was going through a mental breakdown. I reached out to my supervisor during my work shift and I told her, and I only had 2 hours left, and I said, "Lauren, I need to know, like, can I take these last 2 hours off? Like I'm breaking down right now." Like I said, I miss my son. I'm going through a lot of stuff right now mentally, and I will be back in at work tomorrow morning. I said, "Can I please take the last 2 hours off?" She told me no.
Yeah, you just eliminated.
I said, "I don't wanna mess up on the calls." Because I had already messed up by falling asleep during the call. I got yelled at for it, so I
Right.
didn't wanna mess up again because I already knew I was on probation for that. So when she told me no, I switched back over. I took another call. Call came in. I started processing what the person needed to be done. I got to a spot I couldn't get past, so I reached out to another one of the higher ups. And it wasn't my supervisor, so I talked to another one of the higher ups, and she could hear it in my voice. She goes, "Are you okay, Ryan?" I said, "No, like I'm losing it." I said, "I can't do this right now." I said, I'm failing right now." And I said, "I asked Lauren to like let me take the last 2 hours off," and she told me no. She goes, "It's all right, Ryan. Like you got this, you got this." I said, "All right." So she talked me through it. She gave me what I needed to get, or the info I needed. So I thought I had switched over or I thought I was still on hold in between the calls. And I took a deep breath and I said, "I fucking can't stand this fucking shit, dude. Fuck this fucking goddamn customer and fuck this, dude." Not knowing the customer was
Oh
on,
no.
yes, not knowing the fucking customer was on the line.
Shit.
I end the call because I realized the customer was on the line. I looked,
100%. Yeah, you're just like fucking them out.
yep,
Yeah.
I already knew I was fucked. I looked at my computer screen and it said incoming call, group
Oh
call.
no.
And I looked at the names. I seen the boss
Yeah.
and my supervisor. I got
Yeah.
on and I said, "I already know what's gonna happen right now." I said, "I'm getting fired, aren't I?" He goes, "Unfortunately, yes, you are." And I said, I looked at my supervisor. I said, "Lauren, you're a fucking cunt."
Yeah, man. I'd be like, listen, I told you guys that I wasn't in. I would have been called
And
HR.
yeah,
Like, no, no, no.
yeah.
I want
So
your boss today,
so
now.
the
Like,
manager goes, he goes, "Excuse me, what did you just say?" I said, "I didn't fucking stutter. I said your
yeah,
supervisor, my supervisor." I
yeah,
said, "Lauren, you're a fucking cunt." I said, "I know
yeah.
that's a foul word." I said, "But you know what? Reached out to her before this got to this point, and I asked her. I begged her. I was in tears while I was on the phone with her. You guys can listen to the recorded phone call when I was in tears begging her to please let me take these last 2 hours off." And she refused to let me do it. I said, "So if this for the outcome of this," I said, "you can blame her for this." I said, "This was not my fault." And so I got fired. I went and picked up my last check, and then this is during the time of COVID. So I got my last check, and then the COVID thing started coming through, and then I started collecting my EDD money, which only made my addiction 10 times worse. I lost my apartment.
Right.
I ended up getting I went homeless. I ended up staying under a bridge for a couple weeks until I started using my 2 cents. It's like, "Hey, dude, like you have these girls who like you," and I hope. Unfortunately, this is gonna sound like I'm a piece of shit right now, but I'll admit I am a piece of shit when I'm in active addiction.
We all are.
I used my face, my good looks, or whatever you want to call it, to its advantage, and I stayed at these girls' house instead of being homeless. But I
Oh, I know
wasn't.
a few guys just like you.
But I wasn't faithful.
Right. Then, yeah. Well, at
There
least
was
you're honest.
Hey, we're in an honest program nowadays, so
That's
we
right.
have we have to be
Yeah,
honest
that's
about it.
right.
So I wasn't faithful to these girls. I was telling them I was single, but I was honestly out. Just I hit you today. I hit you later
Yeah.
on, and I hit you later on this evening.
Yeah. Never to be homeless
Yeah,
again.
yeah, dirtbag as fuck, right?
Yeah.
So I was told by one of my friends, "Hey, dude, you need to fucking watch what you're doing, dude. Your dirtbag shit, it's gonna catch up to you." Oh, it sure
Yeah.
did because those 3 women that I was dirtbagging
Yeah.
linked up
Oh,
and
and now they all knew.
yeah, and so they all conspired with each other, gave me the boot, so I was back under the bridge again. So I just moseyed off in another direction,
Oh my God.
met some other people, got myself put into a situation to where supposedly I had the cartel looking for me because I was
Oh, of
hanging out with the wrong person's girlfriend.
course.
This fucking face of mine unfortunately got me in a lot of trouble during my addiction.
Your pretty ass face. Hey, just out there.
So long story short, I started getting more tweaked out harder and harder. The harder I was going, the more I was staying up, the longer I was staying up, the more my paranoia started kicking in. So when I got told that I was being looked for, I started tripping out. Who wouldn't? When you get told that
Yeah.
the cartel's looking for you, when they look for someone, they usually can get them. I get a call from my mom telling me that there had been a car parked in front of her house for about 3 or 4 days, and the dude never left the car. And I
Uh-oh.
told her, so I finally told her about what I was possibly in. She made a call to my older brother and said, "You need to come get your fucking little brother and bring his ass back to fucking California."
Yeah.
Not realizing that that was only going to be worse for me and my addiction.
Well, because yeah, right. You're supposed to be an organ. That's
Because
what's keeping
yeah,
you sober. Got
yeah,
it.
yeah. So
Dang.
I go back and I'm running amok for another 5 years, and this is what's leading up to me where I'm now. So I'm down there.
Wow.
So I'm running amok for another 5 years, and my addiction just got harder and harder and harder and harder. But
Mm.
I resurrected an old addiction. So it was now alcohol, meth, booze, Xanny bars, and then so I'm doing all of that, and then my loved one, God rest her soul, she goes to jail, and this is after uh, we had bought a trailer for me and her to live in, a really nice trailer. She goes to jail. I find out that she was wanting to put the trailer up for bail to get her out. So
Okay.
I couldn't get it to go through that way. So I found someone who would buy it. I got completely fucking ripped off. Long story short, I got burned. Basically, I ended up getting burned for about 1,000 out of the money, which would have out of the six that I needed to get her bailed out. So my dumbass being dumb. Oh, I'm gonna go to the casino, dude. I've won 10,000 once. I think I can get this again. I go and try to double that money. I lost all of it.
Of course. Yeah.
So the last day of me spending the rest of the bail money, I find out my loved one was getting released. I'm over
What?
here I'm over here shitting bricks because it's so fact like, what the fuck am I gonna tell her about the trailer? What am I gonna tell her about? Well, okay, you sold the trailer. Where the fuck's the money?
Oh no.
She gets
Like,
out and I
honey, I'm
fucking
home. We don't
yeah,
got one.
honey, we're homeless
Yeah.
because of my stupidity.
Yeah.
So, and she's such a
Honey, we're
forgiving
stealing a
woman.
tent from fucking Canadian Tire.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so and I mean, like God rest her soul, she was such a forgiving woman. She forgave me. She goes, I'm just glad that you're okay. She goes, because I heard you got Narcan. I said I did. She goes, what the fuck happened? You don't do fentanyl. So what the fuck did you get Narcan for? I said, long story short, said I was out in 29, whoopie whoop, hanging out with the homies, and
Yeah.
someone passed me the meth pipe. I hit it, and then no one told me there was fentanyl in it.
Ugh, it just stinks too. It's fucking right grimy that shit when it's
Yeah.
mixed in there, like on
Yeah.
glass. Yeah, it
So I hit
stinks.
it. I hit it. I went out. I got brought back. The dude who handed me the pipe, the dude who loaded it, got his ass fucking handed to him by the homies because they said, "What the fuck you trying to do? You trying to kill the homeboy, dude?"
Yeah, just cleaning everybody out.
Yeah,
Dang.
and I didn't know he didn't fuck around. And they're all, dude, we didn't know that you put that shit in there, dude. Some of us don't fuck with this shit either, bro.
Yeah.
So, so
I never
she,
really understood that whole like I get doing both of them. Like I understand that part. I understand why you do one and do the other one. I mean, actually probably prevents a lot of overdose deaths. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like methamphetamines, it's I would say, and I mean, statistically, I would have to do some more research, but just from like being in it type of thing, I would say that it probably solves almost as much problems as naloxone and Narcan. And people don't know that, right? Like if it wasn't cut with meth, it would, man, that stuff would have clean. There would be nobody. Like,
yeah,
period. Like
yeah,
that
no,
for sure keeps a lot of hearts going. Like it's insane. But what I'm getting at is like I understand why people, whatever, why. But when there's something about it in a meth pipe, like that part I don't understand. Like that it doesn't make
yeah,
no sense to me.
yeah. So when after we talked and she forgave me for it,
Yeah.
we decided to go down to Palm Springs, California,
Mm.
and start running amok again.
People
But
are like, none of
the
this makes some sense to me.
yeah, but at
Yeah.
this point in my addiction, psychosis started kicking in.
Right.
Drug-induced psychosis is one tough motherfucker to live through. And so with that being said is so when I started going through drug-induced psychosis, because I'm skipping certain parts just because I don't want to talk about certain parts just because it's just
You don't need to, I
yeah,
mean, honestly, yeah, you don't feel
yeah,
obligated to tell
yeah,
everything. A lot of it's not
yeah,
anybody's business. I
yeah,
went through my situations, somehow managed to bury like, I think I ended up doing about 6 eulogies, and I still, when I do my testimony, I don't even think I talk about funerals at all.
yeah. So long story short, so I'm starting to go through some of my early drug-induced psychosis, and then I go over to a friend's house with my loved one, and I get asked, "Hey, do you want to snort something?" I said, "Sure." What most drug addicts ain't gonna deny free drugs.
Mm,
So I'm like, all right, you guys do yours and I'll do mine. I didn't see my lady snort hers, and I didn't see homeboy snort theirs, but they did. They handed me the CD case. There was a pile on there. They didn't tell me, hey, don't snort all of that. I fucking did the whole fucking thing. I'm sitting there on the couch, and next thing you know, I'm watching everything in front of me start fucking dripping.
damn.
That wasn't cocaine. That wasn't methamphetamines. It was DMT mixed with probably a little bit of meth.
What?
Yes. So I'm going through the most horrific hallucinations, tripping out, paranoid, scared for my fucking life.
Who's out here doing DMT like that? Like, what?
Oh,
Bro?
dude, out in the high desert, that shit's
Wow.
rampant. That shit is rampant out in the high desert.
Really? Oh, yeah, I
Yes.
guess so. Yeah, yeah, fair enough, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah. Start hallucinating and start staring at the sky.
Yeah,
You're gonna see aliens.
yeah. No, 100, yeah, everyone thinks that there's like it's like UFO district out there, but no one wants to talk about the DMT or the peyote that everybody's on. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Peyote grows wild out in my hometown. Wild.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
I'm going through it, dude. Me and my lady, we leave the spot that we were just at, where I snorted that at, and next you know, we're parked in the middle of the fucking desert. I mean, the middle of BFE. Not a highway, not a road, no, not a house, nothing near us. We're sitting in the middle of the desert. I'm sitting there with a machete on my side, a bunch of knives in my backpack, and I'm sitting there with the car door open, and she's sitting in the driver's seat doing her thing. Kind of pissed off me because I'm fucking tripping so
Spooked.
bad, right? And it's probably like 9:30 at night, and any car that drives by way off in the distance, I see a shadow from their headlight. Babe, they're fucking coming, dude. I got my knife, and she goes, babe, there's no one coming. You know what, babe? Like, I'm gonna tell everyone from here on out, like, you're not allowed to fucking get high no more.
Yeah.
She goes, you are done. She goes, you can fucking drink and you can fucking smoke weed, and that's as far as it goes. When we go back to any of the homies' houses, I'm telling them flat out right off the bat,
Everybody.
do not give this motherfucker no dope. He does not need no more dope. This is the weird part though. So when
Mad
my
hanging
drug
out
and
in the
so when my drug induced psychosis started getting worse, I want to say I was hearing shit in my head,
Mm,
which is probably truthfully is the truth, but I was hearing people having discussions about killing me.
yep.
So I'm on high alert. Not trusting, not my girlfriend now at the time, because she's got me surrounded by all these motherfuckers who want to kill me. And she don't believe me when I'm telling her that I'm hearing this shit. She's telling me I'm fucking crazy. So me and her are fighting because I'm fucking tripping the fuck out. So my
Right.
first my first my first big my first big trip out where I first heard someone talking about killing me, she was sleeping. I fucking packed my bag and I fucking split the fuck out. Didn't tell her a damn thing. I went up to my hometown and left her down what we call down the hill, because my hometown is up the big ass hill up in the high desert, and where we were at was the lower desert. And so I leave her down there and I go up there and I start smoking with my homies up there. And my paranoia, nowhere around.
Oh, do
Nowhere
you think some of
fucking
that has to
around.
do with environment though, or like how people react to you when you're high?
Yes,
Like
yes,
sometimes I
yes.
think like people kind of like play on it a little bit.
Yes, yes, and that's exactly what and it's taken me. The longer I'm sober, the more I'm realizing they were playing off of my fucking trips. They were
You
fucking
know?
with me because they knew it was gonna get to me.
But I think some of it's definitely like paranoia and some of it's definitely like hallucinations, but there's definitely a part of it like if you're constantly saying like I see this or I see that, like people around you get frustrated. Like they get annoyed. And so their energy when it changes and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, this person doesn't want me around." They might
Yeah.
be like, "No, you just need to chill out for a minute." But when you're tripping, like that feels like you're unwanted. And that feeling
Yes.
alone will spur on like you got to get out of there all of a sudden people
And I went through it 5 different times before the 6th one finally
Mm.
hit, but the 6th one, I did I looked at my loved one, I told her, and she was sick as fuck in the bed, and I'm talking, like, body rash from head to fucking toe, sweating so bad,
Yeah,
and so before I actually decided to fucking make the call and leave, I went over to because we were staying down the hill.
mm,
She was sick in the bed, and I was tripping out, so I left that the house we were at because I just needed to get out of my head. I was hoping that if I left, I can get out of my head. So I left over across the way to mine and her friends. She talks me down and she tells me like, "Hey, you could just stay here. Like, cause like if you're really tripping this bad and she's not listening to you, just stay here. Like, I don't want
yeah,
nothing to happen to you. Like, I love you like family, dude. Like, and I love her like family too. But if she's not gonna listen to you when you're talking about this, and like I can tell that you're sincere, that you sincerely fucking feel this way about this, then I don't
yeah.
want you going back over there." So I'm over there and I'm staying there
Stay
with her
here
for a
where it's
couple.
safe.
Yeah, yeah. So I crash over there for about a day or two, and then I get a text from mine and my loved one's so-called homeboy. He tells me, he goes, "Hey, dude, she's over here sick as fuck, dude. And you just, where are you, dude?" And I said, "I'm around, bro." I said, "But I don't trust none of you motherfuckers, bro." So I walk in after he texts me and convinces me to come back. So I go
Right,
back and I got all my shit with me because I knew when I left my homegirl's house where I had all my shit at, and like basically all of my shit, I brought all my shit with me because I knew when I went over there something was not fully right sitting in my stomach. So I walked in and I start hearing that shit. As soon as I walked in, and one of these bitches goes, "Hey, you might want to call homeboy back. He's back." So
R-
I'm already on high alert as soon as I walk in. I
yeah.
walk
Now
in.
you're like, but why, like why did it matter, like what's
Yeah.
happening, why do I need to
Yes.
be, yeah, why do we need to like sound the alarms that I'm here, like what,
Yeah.
like it's supposed to be like a comfortable environment for you just to chill, then why is everyone tripping,
Yeah.
like
So I walk in my bedroom and I look at her and I'm just like, "Hey, I'm back." And she goes, "Fuck you." You mean yelling at me just because I fucking bailed? Woo, woo, woo. Which she had all right to feel that way. And so I stay with her throughout the night until morning. I'm up all fucking night listening to these fucking people discuss me. I got someone in the backyard digging a 6 foot fucking hole, and I put this on my son. There was a 6 foot fucking hole in the backyard being dug outside my fucking bedroom window. For what fucking odd reason?
for you,
Are
bro.
you? That's what I'm fucking saying. In my head, that's what it's screaming to me. So I hear everyone in the front room, and I hear whole boy come walking up to the door, and I can hear 5 other voices behind him, and I knew each
Yeah,
one of the voices that was behind him. And
right,
he goes, "Hey, Ryan, can I come in the room?" And my lady looks at me, and she sees me standing there right in where the bedroom door is. The closet is there's like a little wall, and the closet goes in like on the other side of the wall where the door is. I'm standing
yeah.
up with my back against the door or up against the wall, and she looked at me and she sees the fucking big ass machete slide out of my fucking sweater. And she looked at me and
Oh,
she knew damn well if that fucking door opened, what was going to happen fucking next.
someone's dying, everybody's
Yes.
dying.
So she said, "Do not walk through that fucking door." I looked at her and I fucking started crying.
Oh
And this
man.
and this is when I dropped to my fucking knees and I grabbed my necklace that I had in my backpack that was because I was running away from my religion for a very long time. A very long
Hmm.
time. I grabbed my
Hmm.
cross necklace out and I put it on and I dropped to my knees and I started crying and I kissed that necklace, begging God
Wow.
to give me a sign for something to get me out of this.
Right.
I went through one more psychosis, and it scared me enough to where I called my mom and I said, "Mom, I need you to have my little brother, or you come pick me up, or I'm gonna be scattered throughout the desert of California, or I'm gonna be in prison." So
Damn.
so my little brother came and picked me up the following, or I think 3 days later, because I went back up to my hometown to a spot that nobody knew that I would go to.
See, yeah, see, you're like gotta hit that safe spot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Safe
so I
house.
go over there and I stay over there for a few days, and they're the only ones that actually know that I'm really leaving. My loved one knew, because I told her when I walked out that house that day, when I was walking out with my shit, told her, I said, "I'm fucking leaving. If you ain't fucking gone, if you ain't ready in 3 fucking days, I'm leaving you here."
Right.
I didn't hear for 3 days. I went up to, I came up to Oregon. She didn't really fucking believe I left, and then fucking she got a hold of my mom, and she told my mom told her, "He's out here," and she goes, I miss him so much, and I can't believe he fucking really left me." And she goes, "He fucking told you."
Man, you were like, listen, like, would you miss the 6 foot fucking hole? Like,
Calico, I'll get to that after I'm just about wrapping up the testimony, and I will get to how music has got me through every damn thing I've ever had a problem with. So so my little brother, after the 3 days go by, my little brother finally makes it out here. He drove 12 straight hours, picked me up, and so we head up to Oregon, and then 3 months 3 months, into my recovery, my loved one finally makes it up here,
yeah,
and 3 months into her recovery, after 25 hardcore years of opiates and IV using of both drugs, meth and heroin and fentanyl,
yeah,
her quitting cold turkey after that
yeah.
long of abuse unfortunately took a fucking very hard toll on her body, and she passed
And
away
she
May
passed.
7th. She passed away May 7th, 2023.
May she
Oh no,
rest peacefully.
May 6th, 2023, because May 7th is my alcohol clean date, because that's the day I quit drinking. Was the day after or was the
May
same
she
the day
rest.
after yeah. So she
Damn,
passed away.
brother.
I went fucking hardcore in one day on alcohol. One day. Almost lost my freedom, my little brother's freedom, and if something would have happened to me and my little brother, it would have killed my mom.
Yeah,
Because what I mean by almost lost my and my brother's freedom is I was out looking to hurt people because I wasn't so much pain because she died.
yeah, yeah,
And I was getting grilled from people from back home telling me like that she died from a relapse, this and this and that, when she died fucking sober, and I put this on everything. She died sober.
well, it just her body shut down then? Like, I don't
Yeah.
like, yeah, because and you know what's really frustrating is like people are like, oh, overdose this and overdose that. Yeah, man, people overdose, they survive, people overdose and they die. But there's a whole other piece to it too. Like, I have someone in my life that everyone thought overdosed on drugs, and I was like, no, man, no, like he died of heart failure, you know? And it's not because he was living the good life, but I mean, there not everybody's out here ODing. Like that shit'll shut your body down. I'm sorry for your loss. I really am.
So
I really am.
so when she passed away, I went through that one whole day of drinking, and like I said, I put myself in a predicament. I put my brother in a predicament, and the following day, I decided not to drink anymore, and I gave up alcohol, which I knew because if I didn't give up alcohol, I was going to end up down the road of meth again because what did I discuss earlier in the testimony? What led me back down that relapse
Right.
was alcohol. So I knew
Alcohol.
if I didn't quit, I wasn't going to achieve what I wanted, and that was to be the best sober dad for my son. So and the crazy thing is before she passed, I know deep inside she knew she was gonna pass because she told me one day after I got off work, she looked at me and she goes, "I need you to promise me something." And I said, "What's up?" And she goes, "Promise me something." And I said, "What's up? I can't promise you if I don't know what it is."
Yeah, totally.
And she goes, "If something happens to me, I want you to stay sober.
Aw,
Promise me you're not gonna go back down there. You're not gonna get back on drugs." And
that's
I
a
looked at her, I
fucking
said,
hard promise.
"Yeah." And I looked at her and I said, "Bitch, you ain't going nowhere."
Sorry. not that is not what I thought you were about to say.
Yeah, and she looked at me, she goes, "I fucking love you," and I said, "I love you too, but you're not going anywhere." She goes, "I know." She goes, "But I had to get that off my chest."
Yeah, totally.
So on Cinco de Mayo, like, this is how I know God took her home, because she had wanted to talk to her kids for a very long time, because she
Okay.
lost her rights to her kids due to her addiction,
Yeah.
and, So we're at my little brother's house, and like I said, I was still drinking at this time. Me, her, my brother, we're kicking back, we're drinking, we're having fun, barbecuing, and her mom calls
Okay.
my phone, and her mom goes, "Hey, can I talk to her?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Whoop, whoop. Her and her mom are chit-chatting for a minute, and then she gets off the phone with her mom, and she goes, "Hey, I gotta call my mom back." So she calls her mom back like she told her she would. She calls her back or calls her mom back, and her babies answer the phone.
Oh, okay.
She got to hear her kids' voices. She got to talk to her kids for a few minutes.
Right.
It made her cry, and then she looked at my little brother and she goes, "Hey, Tristan, can you put on, this song for me?" And my brother's all, "What song?" She's all, "Blue Jeans, ZZ Top."
Oh no.
She goes, "That song is something that me and my dad used to listen to when he was alive when I was a when I was a little girl. I really wanna
Okay.
hear it." And I
So
looked
now
at her and I
she's,
said, I said, "I've never heard you play the song before, and we've been together 3 years. I've never heard you play this." And she goes, "I miss my dad."
oh, you're killing me.
4:30 the following morning, May 6th, or yeah, May 6th is the day I found her in the bathroom, passed out, well, dead, unfortunately, but she died from an overdose, or not overdose. She died from what everyone thought was an overdose, but was a stroke. But she was sitting on the toilet, and when she fell off the toilet, it she slapped her face and knocked her fucking teeth out of her fucking mouth, and that was one of the hardest things to ever fucking experience, was having to see the person you love so fucking much lifeless, cold on the fucking floor.
Yeah.
And still to be able to fucking push through it like the fucking warrior I am, because I made sure that I kept the fucking promise that I gave her, that no matter what happened to her, no matter what the outcome was, whether we chose to stay with each other or the worst outcome, that I would remain sober. So this she is one of the biggest strengths during my recovery. It's not only God and myself keeping myself sober, is that promise that I gave to her. Her obvious last dying fucking wish was for me to remain sober, because she didn't like the person I was becoming on drugs or when I was on alcohol. So I made sure I made that change, not only for her, but for myself, for my son, for my family, and to be able to be one hell of a recovery influencer and inspire all the people I inspire today.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen
And
to that. And what a thing that you are freaking doing, man. Like, amen to that. Um, Congratulations on your sobriety. Honestly,
thank
what
you.
a thing to survive, man. I'm sitting here trying to wrap my mind around some of the things, and I know that you kind of just like, you know, kind of glance over a barrage of things, and I know that it gets hard. Like we tell our testimonies, and sometimes we focus on different stories and stuff, and for you to like go to that place and talk about her, it means a lot to me. I really do appreciate you opening up. I I am impressed with the fact that you survived that, but I'm even more impressed that you did all of that to turn around and then even care about other people's sobriety and even care about other people's success. It's shocking to me because most people would go through that and be like, you know, fuck it, right? Like I'm in this for me, but you're not in this for you. You're in this to tell
I'm
this
in this for
story
all of us. I'm
for
in this for all of
everybody.
us. I want
Yeah,
all of us to win. And like
yeah,
the there's not a we in a team, you know what I mean? And this recovered community is one big ass family slash team,
yeah,
and and
yeah.
it's not an I program, it's an honest program. It's what it is. And I'd rather be honest, and I'd rather be raw, and I'd rather be open, and rather just put it how it is, and how I feel. Like with my posts, when I post things on my Facebook, I'm open about my recovery. I'm open about my feelings. I'm open about what I feel and what I think. And sometimes, yeah, it's a little too much, but it's who I am. I'd rather be open and transparent about my recovery, because I don't want people to think that because you get into recovery that everything in life is going to be golden, sunshine, and rainbows, because in all honesty, that is a fucking lie, because you are going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. But trust and believe, I would rather take my downs during my sober days than I would rather have 100 bad sober days than any fucking good day in active addiction ever again.
Ah, cheers to that. Yes, exactly. Like, cheers to that. And I think people forget that. Like, we are telling all of this stuff, and it's like, you know what? We joked, about it being, or not joke. We said it's fun, and not to glamorize it and all that stuff. And it's like, shit, man. Like, yeah, you're right. Sobriety is what's good. I'd rather have a shitty ass sober day than a, any one of those days again. Even when it was fun and wild and all that stuff, it's you still ran the risk of ODing. You still ran the risk of freaking, getting arrested. You still ran I mean, shit. Like the things that used to be normal, the things that used to just be like run of the mill every day, no big deal. Like, out there doing all sorts of craziness. It's wild, man. It's wild. Like,
And then, like, just to get a little, I want to talk a little bit about the recovery right now. Is me being in recovery, like if I would have known it was this great, like I said, yeah, there are the ups and downs, but if I would have known it's this great being in recovery and being able to see things outside of outside the circle of addiction and seeing where I once was and seeing now being an inspiration to others who are either still struggling or in early recovery. I love the simple fact that knowing that recovery has brought me the strength to be able to recover out, or my recovery has brought me the strength. And not only my recovery, God has given me the strength to be able to recover out loud the way I do. Because, like I said, even when I have my bad days, I still get on social media and I still push recovery because it means the damn world to me. It means the world to me knowing that if my voice is stopping someone from picking up a bottle or picking up a needle or picking up a pipe or just doing something that they shouldn't be doing, then trust and believe I'm going to continue doing what I do within recovery because it means the world to me being able to be a voice for the ones that we have either lost or the ones that are still struggling. And if Calico, if you're still listening, music has literally
Calico's still
saved,
listening.
yeah, music has saved me throughout my entire addiction because there was multiple times where I attempted to take my life and music pushed me away from certain areas of attempting it again because
Yeah.
I would reach out to certain music to help me pull myself out of the dark negative thoughts that I would be in. Like when I get angry, crazy thing is, what kind of music do you think that someone would listen to when they get angry?
Well, you know what? Everyone always says metal music, but that's kind of my calm music. So I don't know. I'm not really.
See, that then we have that in common because when I
Yeah.
get angry, I don't listen to angry music. I listen
No.
to funny thing is I listen to R&B or old
Yeah.
school oldies.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Or if I'm in my if I'm in, and then when I'm angry or if I'm not angry,
Yeah.
I'm listening to my metal. Like that's my go that or R&B. My music playlist, to be honest, is either a lot of Christian rap or R&B, country, and metal. Like
I love
I
country music. I
it took
yeah.
me a long time to get into it, but music is a savior for me. Like no matter what, like even with today, like I wake up as soon as I wake up every morning. I wake up and my earbuds go right in my ear. As soon as I wake up, I roll out the
Oh,
bed, I throw my AirPods in my ear, go go do the morning routine, the bathroom routine, go get a cup of coffee, come back to
yeah.
the room, hop on social media, drink my coffee, and I'm just jamming out. And my earphones barely actually really leave my ears because I usually have music blasting all damn day long, one way or another. Because music is a release for me. Like I may not like when I'm at home, I don't really socialize with my family. I stick to myself in my room. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
and it kind of bugs my family because like I'm a social butterfly on social media.
Right.
Like, and I'm out there reaching out to everybody, talking to everybody, but I don't actually socialize when I'm at home. But like, and it's something that I haven't really actually discussed a lot. But the reason why I stay in my room as much as I do is because I went from being homeless for a very long time. Like, so having my own little spot,
Hmm.
this is my little cave right here. This is my comfy zone. This is my little kingdom right here for now. And then
Totally.
and
Yeah.
And you mean like yeah, it does suck that I don't go spend as much time with my family as I do, but this is my little spot. This is what keeps me in my okay spot. Is being
Whatever keeps you grounded is what is good, you know? Like, we talk about that a lot with Pine Case, like, everyone's safe, you know, safe and stable, place looks different. It doesn't have to be any certain thing. The thing is that you're around, you're alive, and you can give that to your family, but I hope that they realize that in turn to you kind of having your safe cave, there's a whole network of people that essentially rely on you every day. I don't know if you guys know this, but like and I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's the followers, it's this, it's whatever. But when I say that he runs a recovery group, I'm just going to put the name of it up at the bottom here. When I say he runs a recovery group, I mean, it's, you have more people in that recovery group than in the town that I currently live in. You know that? Like you're not, we're not talking like, we're not talking, I mean, I know that there's some of us as recovery influencers, we got some serious numbers. But when I look at the groups, those are challenging to run. But what's cool about what you're doing is that it kind of runs itself sometimes. Like, I go over there and check it out, and people are like uh supporting each other. People are putting up their before and afters, and someone will put up their sober date, and then everyone else chimes in. Like, it's one thing to have a bunch of people in a group. It's another thing to have people actively interacting with each other all the time, man. Like, it is so wild over there. I love it because I'm not one, I can't go and sit in NAA. Big up to all of the classic meetings. I
meeting goers.
Yeah, a hundred
Yeah,
percent. But
I will be honest, and I hope people don't look at me as like a piece of shit when I say this, but this is just being part of the honest program. The only time I ever went to a meeting was during active addiction. That was to stand outside,
yep, yeah,
and most people know what the fuck I mean by when I stood outside that meeting.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. I've been there. I've been to one of each of them, and it was a couple of times because I told people that I would, and I am a person of my word. But man alive, when I seen that there was a whole virtual thing going on and I didn't have to sit around and, you know, drink stale coffee. Don't get me wrong, I drink stale coffee at home, but like, but
You everybody brings up the coffee. Everybody brings up the coffee at about a meeting.
I don't know if it's
That's
because
funny.
it's actually the coffee or if it's like that's the smell that like fills the room, so it just kind of sticks with you or whatever. But yeah, that was not for me. When I realized that I could sit and be anonymous, or sit and be interactive, that's when I really started seeing like what was happening, how I could contribute, why it was important. Keith's out here. This is your boy, hey? Like, this dude, he knows what's good. Yeah, push out addiction and push up recovery. Keith,
Love you,
absolutely,
brother.
man. Yeah,
That,
dude.
that's the brother from Rise Above. Great man right there, dude. Like solid brother right there. He actually sent me my first bracelet I posted the other day, my Rise Above bracelet, and
Wow, very cool.
it was taking a little bit of time to get to me. And he messaged me. He goes, "Hey, like I don't know if it's gonna make it to you, or like I don't know if something fucked up, so I'm gonna send you another two."
Oh, no way. Very
So
cool.
I got another two coming in the mail. I love you, brother. Like you're amazing, dude. And I do have to say this while I'm on this live. Like my group,
Please.
yes, I do have that group, but I can't say that I'm just the only face behind that group. I have an amazing, and I mean amazing team behind me, or
Yeah, don't we all?
behind that team, or behind that group. And
Yeah,
I have someone from New Zealand. I have someone
very
from
cool.
South Africa because
Mhm.
US isn't the US, and then I have someone from Canada.
Yeah.
And because the United States isn't the only country that fucking suffers from addiction.
No.
So if I can get a voice for as many countries as I can on my team, trust and
Yeah,
believe I want them. Like
yeah.
if you're hearing me and you hear me say this and you're looking to
Mm,
be part of a recovery team, like I got you, and you're from another country, you want to join
yeah.
in, I got you. Hit me up and I got you. I would love to have you part of the family because like I said, not only the US suffers from addiction, every other country has a problem with addiction, whether it's similar drugs. Some countries have drugs that we ain't never even heard or seen of, and I'm grateful that our country ain't.
Wild.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah, I'm
There's
grateful
some
for the simple fact that our country hasn't hit in some of the drugs that these other countries have, because of the simple fact that I've from what I see on social media, some of these drugs are 10 times deadlier than fentanyl when it comes to eating your flesh off your skin.
Oh, I was
Like that
just
is,
gonna say the crocodile, man, some of
yeah,
that stuff.
crocodile.
That, and because that one's been out for a little while, like that. I remember when that one first kind of came out, and everyone. I was living in Vancouver then, and I was like, "Oh shit, here we go. East Hastings is not gonna like this. It's gonna be, Night of the Living Dead down there." And I'm grateful that it didn't necessarily hit. They still got their own thing going on, but yeah, some of those countries, man, it is absolutely horrendous. And then you run the other situation that happens, which is um things like naloxone and Narcan and stuff. Don't touch those drugs. Like, you know what I mean? You can be out there doing all that, but you don't have nothing to save you, man.
Nothing.
Nothing to save you. Calico says, "So glad we can send people your way." I don't know. Not every. I don't know for those who don't know. Everyone should by now. I hope I say it enough. Patrick, Calico's my girl. She is my. Yeah, she is the C to my K to the pine case situation. Like she is. She does all the cool shit that I don't do. She
I'm like double watching because I got like the camera right here,
yeah
then I got my iPad running the feed, the
yeah
live
yeah
stream. So
yeah.
I'm
Good. So
looking
you
at
can see the
watching.
comments then.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, Calico,
Calico. Thank you for all the support, Calico, because you've been following me for a bit now. I think it's since me and this young lady linked up through social
yeah,
media, and
yeah,
I appreciate all of you guys. Like you guys are all amazing, and especially what you do, like the mental health and the music thing. Like because a lot of us recovering addicts or alcoholics, music
yeah.
has always been a big stepping stone for a lot of us, a big outlet. And the way you do your thing, like big props to that right there. Big
Oh,
big
thank
props.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I
Like
appreciate that. When I was
like
in,
you
sorry, go ahead.
like you get me props for what I do. Like mental health is a big issue. It's
Yes.
just it's up there with drugs and alcohol,
Yeah.
like abuse. And I respect you for what you do, and I'm grateful that you gave me the opportunity to come on this live.
It's my honor. When we started Pine Case, it was, I had my own shit going on, right? As we do. We also lost a couple of people to suicide. And then, some of the kids, because I'm a godmom, right? Some of the kids were kind of wilding out or whatever. And it was just like a whole bunch. One of my best friends is schizophrenic, but like functioning and like doing his thing or whatever. And it was like a whole pile of shit. And I was like, this is insane, like this is insane. Like, what are we going to do with all these stories? What are we going to do with all this thing? And that's why we try and keep it kind of an even playing field with everybody. The testimonies from recovery, the musicians that come in with all of their great initiatives and just, album releases and stuff like that. When I was in the one and only time that I went to a detox program, and I absolutely attribute it to saving my life and the massive reason why I got sober. But uh, there was a whole bunch of different type of people in this detox center. And so when I say detox, I mean like, people are in there for eating disorders. People are in there for codependency issues. People are in there for all sorts of stuff, which is why I ended up going into mental health as a study afterwards. Um, but there was two dudes with guitars. If you guys go back far enough into my videos, you'll hear one, and it's just obnoxious, and it starts with two dudes and guitars. I don't know. I can't stand that video now, but there was two dudes named John, and one had an acoustic and one had an electric guitar, and they jammed. And it was the first time since I had checked myself into that detox center that I had heard something other than, the sounds of them cooking fucking spaghetti or whatever, right? And like the sound of someone, trying not to shit their pants or whatever, the sound of someone on the phone talking to their loved one, or the sound of a cigarette. Like it was the first time I had heard anything. And I was like, oh my God, that's what's missing in recovery. Like it's just so sterile, like and I know that sober living facilities and detox centers and all that, they have the system in place and they have it locked down, and it absolutely saves lives. But there's a whole other piece to it that no one was talking about, and it's the arts and culture piece. I mean, so much art and culture comes from suffering. So why aren't we turning that situation around on itself, right? So yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, it's time. We're going to highlight all the good stuff, and the ugly, and the debauchery, and the solutions to it. So that's how that all happened. But yeah, big ups to you guys. Honestly, I'm so into it. When I seen what was happening virtually, It was interesting to me because I kind of watched from afar for a second, and then as soon as I dipped my toe in, you guys kind of sucked me right under into your embrace, your big old brother hugs. All of a sudden, I had like all these, everyone's like chiming in on stuff and like, oh, you got to check out this live stream, and all of a sudden, everyone's on each other's live streams, and I was like, you guys are so cool. Like this is so cool. That's so cool to see. So yeah, the clean and sober part of the recovery influence part is massive. You guys have the biggest outreach that I've seen in any, like, not saying that none of the other mental healths are an issue, but you guys got the biggest hug for sure. For sure. Yeah. I dig it.
Oh yeah, actually, before I actually do sign off this live though, because I do got to get off here soon. But I do want to shout out for Addicts by Addicts
Yep.
recovery group, Sober Tribe Vibe recovery group. Both those two are ran by Chrissy LS, amazing
Okay.
recovery influencer from Canada.
Yeah. Shout out to the Canadians.
She actually got me before I actually created my group. I first started with Sober Tribe, and that I was on that team this entire past year until unfortunately there was like issues in the group that a lot of the team we got released, which it hurt at first because that was like my home group, because that was like what started me doing recovering out loud like this.
Right.
So when I got released, it hurt a little bit, but like I said, big shout out to you, Chrissy, and both of your groups. Shout out to Sober and Loving It. Shout out to Recovery Rebels. Freedom is Recovery, and these are all groups that I work with or work along with.
Yeah. Let
Um,
people know.
I can't believe I don't even want to say the name because I feel like I'm gonna chop it up. Be stronger, something like that. I'm sorry, brother Mike. I can't get it right, but your group, yours and Josie's group, Sassy and Sober, and that's Pamela Furlan's group. And I'm watching her group. She started her group a few weeks, maybe a month ago. She's already at 23,000 members, and she's out there doing the damn thing, creating reels left and right to get her group to grow and blow up. You mean like I
Uh,
do reels,
yeah,
and
David
like,
Riggins, he's been
oh
making a
yeah,
stir every time I turn
trust and
around.
believe.
That dude's got, yeah.
Oh, he's getting mentioned too, Mr. Sir David Riggins. That's my brother, the one-legged super warrior over there. Like I love seeing his reel or his video earlier of him. Like that man does amazing things for being a one-legged warrior. He's out there jumping out planes, doing front flips on a
Yes, he
fucking
is.
trampoline, one-footed. How many? There's people with 2 feet or 2 legs who can't even do a fucking front flip on a trampoline, and
Yeah,
you're over there doing it. So big
yeah,
respect to you.
yeah. Big
Just
up.
big respect to all of your recovery groups out there, even the ones who
Mm.
don't like me. You know, I'm proud of you guys, even whether you guys like me or not.
What do you mean don't like you? What's the? Am I missing
no,
something there?
no, I just there's certain people who just happen to not fancy me. And
They don't have
you got
to though.
that's what I'm saying. I wasn't made to be everyone's cup of tea, and
Oh
I
man.
still respect what you guys do.
Yeah.
And that goes for every recovery group out there, even the ones who are just opening
Yeah.
your groups. I am proud of you. You guys are out there trying to make a difference, and that's what matters. Is
Oh,
we
what's
are out
it?
there making. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
there's a couple. While we're at it, there's a couple more too. Mums Off Meth. I can't remember the girl that just started
Oh,
that one.
Jessie Bond. I helped her create. I
Yeah,
helped her create her cover photo for that.
you
So
helped us
yes.
all create our cover photos, my friend. We all got a piece of your artwork. Like, yeah, absolutely. Um,
A big shout out to Scar Nation. Stand the fuck up, Sir Josh Catlett. brother
yeah, the
brother
man himself.
brother yeah, brother Benjamin Lerner. You're a man of many musical talents, and you have also been the one who got me plugged in with all of these amazing people that I have today. Because
Mm-hmm.
it started with me following Ben, and then I got to meet then I got introduced to Josh, then I got introduced to Matt Keegan. And Matt Keegan, big shout out to you,
Yeah,
Sabian
Matt
Myers.
Keegan doing his thing. Yep, absolutely.
Sabian for being their beat maker for Matt Keegan. Big
Hmm.
shout out to you, and
Yeah,
another big
yeah.
shout out to Sabian, because he gave me a second opinion on my artwork that I had already been pondering upon, and that was adding the rib
Okay.
cage to my voodoo doll. So big shout out to you again, brother.
Can we talk
And
about your voodoo doll, your corn voodoo doll, trying to act like I was like that, you know what? That is the So I got tickets to Spice Girls when I was a kid, and then I got tickets to Corn right after. It was like we can listen to this, but you're supposed to listen to this, and then that was it. It was on like Donkey Kong after that. Like yeah, Corn is a ritual in my personal life. So I was when I seen that, I was like, that's really cool. Right on,
Yeah,
very cool,
I was sitting back in my bed just listening to the Issues album, and it happened to be on the
so
song
good.
Fall Away or Fall From Me or Fall Away From Me
Yeah,
or
falling
something
away
like
from
that.
you.
Is yeah, so I
Hmm.
was listening to that one, and I looked at the doll, and I said, "Dude, I love voodoo dolls because look, as most people know, I have one blasted right on my fucking arm."
100%.
And I seen it and I said, "You know, I can draw this." And like I haven't been drawing much since I've gotten sober because that was like my thing, my go-to when I was tweaking. I could bang
Right.
out 50 to 60 drawings within maybe a couple, maybe 2, 3 hours, and
Oh
they would
wow.
be fully colored, fully detailed,
What?
perfect lines and everything. So when I got clean and I tried to do it and it's my hands like they're too shaky. But
Right.
the longer I've been sober, the less
Yeah.
shake.
There you go. There you go.
So I've been putting it down, and I'm slowly getting back into it. And here in May, I'm gonna be going to school to get my well, I'm gonna get my diploma because I didn't or my GED because I didn't finish high school. But I'm
Mm.
gonna go finish that, and then I'm gonna get into college classes for digital art, so I can really step my art game and digital art game up, and really start creating stuff and eventually make money off of it. And you know, like, yeah, it was originally a hobby with me drawing and doing all this. But I mean, if I'm this, if from from everyone's perspective, being told from what everyone tells me, I should really push through it and just make money off it because I actually do have skills doing what I do.
You like, there's what, if you want to play a numbers game, just entertain me for a second. What, there's got to be what, like 200,000? No, it's got to be more than that because Josh Catlett has 100,000 himself. I mean, the amount of people that have seen your artwork just from recovery influencers all posting it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
people see you, man. You know how many compliments I got when I posted my recovery influencer tag from you? Like that was one of those moments where like I posted that and then everyone was like, "Yo, what is happening? Like what's good?" Like
that makes me
tell me what
happy.
yeah, like that was like a huge thing. I posted that and everyone was like, "Whoa, okay." Like you got professional artwork for this kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, man, we're out here. Like check. And then because they all had the same vibe, it linked a whole community together. And I was like, that's really cool. Cause then I was like, oh, there's one, there's another one of us. Oh, there we are, there we are, there we are. And it was like, yeah, visually, I think that what you did in that stretch of time connected probably more people um, in that condensed amount of time than anything else, because that like you could see everyone's kind of numbers went up, all the groups started talking to each other, everyone got each other into everyone's podcasts and live streams. Like I'm pretty sure if I had to vouch, I would vouch and say that because everyone was getting a piece of art from you, you really wove a bunch of us together, man. Like
I love it.
100%.
It makes my
Yeah.
heart happy hearing that. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. No,
All
absolutely.
right, young lady. I think I'm about to call this one an end, though. My device
Well,
is about to die.
thank you so much for sharing your story. I absolutely appreciate it, Patrick.
You
Anytime you
are
want to chat, let me know.
well. Next time if you ever have an open discussion, like, and
Hmm.
you need a spot to be filled,
Yeah,
just get at
you're my
me.
guy. Sounds
All right,
good.
and you are
All
very
right.
welcome. I loved being on this.
Thank you. It was an
All right,
absolute pleasure and honor. You guys, if you haven't already, go and check them out. Give them a like, give them a follow. If you're looking for a virtual recovery group, it's definitely. I'll throw the link down there. I'll pop it back up on the screen. You are more than welcome to sign off, darling. I got a couple more things I got to say before I sign off for the night. But yeah, take
okay.
care, and we'll absolutely chat soon.
All right, much love and respect. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We, for the first time, have gone live on YouTube, which is pretty exciting. Big ups to our boy, Patrick. When I say that he did us all right with the artwork thing, it was super cool. And you'll notice I'll throw mine up. It felt a little bit of like a unity thing. And so, yeah, it was really neat. It was definitely kind of a way that I walked into being a recovery influencer. It was one of those moments that I was like, yep, stamped, sealed, and approved by my boy Patrick. So yeah, thanks to him again for joining us this evening. His group, if you haven't already heard, it is going to be up on the screen right now. You guys check them out. Push Out Addiction, Push Up Recovery. A little bit of housekeeping. I am going to be posting a lot come soon, and I want you guys to know that a lot of it's near and dear to my heart. It doesn't have to be near and dear to you. You can support everybody in recovery, not necessarily by liking and sharing, but if you follow these recovery influencers, it gives them the platform. It gives social media a chance to kind of push some of their content. We're having a hell of a time out here, ending the war on stigma. The algorithm doesn't work in our favors, and yeah, I get that our stories are a bit intense and some of the wording in it's not that great, but even for the ones that are out there using all the right words, all the right terminologies, it's still just not getting pushed to the front line. And so in order for us to do and to continue to do what we do, please hit the notification, subscribe and follow button. Yeah, again, I'm just saying this because I know that hitting like makes everyone know that you're there, and so does commenting, and I don't need you guys out there if you want to remain in anonymity. I completely respect all of that. Thank you so much, and keep a lookout for my Decimate Music Fest. My Decimate Metal Fest stuff's coming out. I got a video coming up just after this one, and we're going to be talking about, we got 4 different fundraisers coming your way, depending on which way you are. If you're in Alberta, we got a lot happening. We got artists coming out from Vancouver. It's going to be super awesome. The lineup for not only the main event, but the fundraisers is wild, y'all. Like wild. I couldn't even believe it. I mean, the fundraisers themselves are a show in a whole. So if you can't make it out to the big event, well, actually, if your pocketbook don't allow it, that's fine. We actually have payment plans, which is super awesome. But you can also, spread a little love by checking out the fundraisers. So I'm going to have all that stuff down on my page. You'll see the logo coming around. It's not that Pine Case is taking a break. It's just that we're going to show a lot of love to Decimate Metal Fest. It's super important. It's an all ages event, which is super cool. It's all inclusive. YEG, Queer YEG's got it on lock. So this one's big. This one, I don't know how the kids do all the hearts and all the, I got to have nails on for that one, and all of that. But when you look at not only the artists, the vendors, but the partnerships, the supporters, the sponsors, it is absolutely what it means to be a community. And I'm super proud to be a part of it. It has historically been in Calgary, and they've just recently moved it up to Millet. So, a little bit of venue change, and that's all right. Like, it's cool. So what we're going to have to do is get everybody in Calgary to slide on over up to Millet and come parties just south of Edmonton. Because that's what we're doing. June 6th and 7th, I'm going to be joined with, The Art of Deception, Narcotic Wasteland, Volt, Time. I mean, honestly, the host is Birthday Girl. She is loud and proud and is going to be an absolute hostess with the mostest. And everything that is happening between now and June 6th and 7th and 8th is going to be geared towards Decimate Metal Fest. We do have a couple of tickets to give away, and I will let you guys, actually, you want to know how? All you got to do is go into our album and pick a metal meme, share it. That's it. The passes actually run $120. We're going to be selling individual passes after May 1st. So maybe that's more your style, but we are going to be giving away a couple of more. So keep tuned to the live streams. And as you see the memes, just give them a share. Of course, we're not going to be blasting all that information in public, but we are paying attention to it on the back end. You guys can get your numbers up for that, and we will hand out a ticket a little bit closer to the actual event time. So just to round all of that up, if you see Decimate Metal Fest, it's not that Pine Case has gone away. We have just taken on sisters in arms to make sure that this event is going to be all that it can be. It's just south of Edmonton and Millet. It's June 7th and 8th. You guys come and check it out. If you are busy those days, there's going to be, we got 4 fundraisers already so far. You can come and join us at one of those. They're about $15 at the door donation. And those are all going to be great times too. I mean, for the main event, we got, we got a full venue and campsites and all that good stuff. So you can do the full pass. And then for the fundraising stuff, it's a little bit smaller. Usually the artists hit the stage at around 7, and they're all in smaller venues. So it's a bit more intimate, a little bit more, there's usually thrashing, whatever. So stay tuned for all that good stuff. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the love and support, you guys, as we continue to navigate what it means to be in music and mental health. And stay safe. Ciao for now. Yeah.